Welcome, artists, to our second lesson with Super Artist. Today we're going to talk about perspective. Now we know that perspective means seeing things. How do you see things? From far away, from close up, sometimes from below, sometimes from above, like the birds. So today's lesson is called Bird's Eye View of Buildings. We are going to make some buildings that look like a busy downtown. And we're going to start with a piece of paper that's a little bit thicker so we can trace when we cut it out. So we'll need paper, we'll need a ruler, a scissors, and a pen. I have mine out and my thicker paper. You could even use a paper plate if you have one sitting around at home. So now we're going to make a parallelogram. I love to say that word, parallelogram. We're going to make a parallelogram that has parallel sides. So this lesson is a little bit trickier than yesterday's lesson. So pay attention and take your time. I'm going to make two lines, one above the other. My first line is horizontal. Remember, horizontal. So I'm going to draw a line about 3 inches. Now, I'm going to move my ruler over and I'm going to make another line 3 inches, but do you see how I moved it over? Now I'm going to connect the sides. I have a parallelogram. I'm going to cut it out. And it's going to look like this. Now, the paper you need is just another piece from your mom and dad's printer. They're going to say, "What's Super Artist doing? We don't have any printer paper left." So you can use any paper you have around the house. We're going to set our parallelogram on the paper. We always, if you remember from other lessons, we always put everything in the front of our picture first. Then we go to the back. So I'm going to put my first trace. You see how I left my parallelogram parallel with the paper? I'm going to trace it. Now I'm using a pen because I want you to be able to see it, but you're going to use a pencil. There's my first trace. I'll put another one over here. I'm going to put one above them right there. And remember, it has to be parallel with the rest. I like to say it's like geese when you fly. When geese fly in the sky, they go together. These are all flying the same direction. Now I might put one up here in the back, still flying the same direction. If you make what you think is a mistake, all I do is just change it. If I don't like it, I don't worry about it being a mistake. But you see how they're all flying in the same direction. I am done with the roofs of my buildings. They don't look like roofs yet because I need to add the lines of the rest of the building, the sides of the building. Again, I'm going to start with the bottom ones, the ones in the front. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to make sure that my ruler is straight up and down, the same as the side of my paper. And I'm going to draw a line to the bottom of the paper like that. On these 3 corners, here's another corner. And the 3rd corner. I have my first building. I'm going to do the same for each building. Straight up and down. Don't let your buildings look like they're tipping over. Straight up and down lines. So I'm going to do the side of this building. I'm keeping my ruler very parallel, that's our special word today, with the side of the paper. But do you see I stopped at this building's roof? Because it's behind. So I don't want to put it through, I want to stop. This side. Now I'm going to go over here. This one is pretty close to the one before. That's okay. Making sure my ruler is always straight. Now this time I didn't get it completely straight. I'm going to change that and make sure that it looks more straight. There. We're going to color these so we don't have to worry too much about it. Remember, you have a pencil that has an eraser. This one in the very back goes all the way down. There's no buildings in front of it. But the corner is going to stop at the building in front of it. And this one. I am now done with my buildings. I need to color them. Now here's what I'm going to say about coloring them. I like my buildings to look like they have a little shadow on one side. So I'm going to pretend that the sun is shining from this side down. So the tops of my buildings are going to be light. The fronts of my buildings are going to be another light color. And the sides of my building are going to be darker. Let me show you one that I already did. And you notice that I colored the tops orange, the fronts purple, and the sides gray. You can choose any colors you want. I even put some windows in my buildings. I'll show you how to do that real quick on this building. I just do a horizontal or a horizontal line, another horizontal line, and then I just close it, and there is a window in one of my buildings. When you color this, you can use anything you'd like. I used a colored pencil. So all the fronts of my buildings, I did purple. I did the tops. You can choose any color you want. I did all the tops orange. And you could do any color. I think I'll use brown this time. Do the sides brown. If you do them the same color, it will look like there is shadows on one side of the building and the light's shining on the other side.